I call upon the head of the School of Divinity, Professor Stuart J. Brown, to open this graduation with prayer.
We come from many lands, many cultures, and many faiths, and we're strengthened by our diversity. Please join me in a moment of prayer or reflection. Almighty God, those who we honor today have come to the end of a journey. They have successfully completed courses, mastered skills, and accumulated knowledge. In many cases, they have confronted and overcome great obstacles. We ask your blessing on our ceremony. May this be a day for our graduates to remember, a day of celebration and new beginnings. Our graduates have achieved much, but they have not done so alone. They have received support. Many of those who helped them, parents, spouses, partners, relatives, and friends, are here to share in their celebration. We offer thanks for their efforts, those efforts that are known and those quiet sacrifices that may not be known. And some of those who supported our graduates cannot be present, and we remember them with gratitude. May the award of degrees and certificates today be but the beginning of a lifelong pilgrimage of learning and discovery. May our graduates never cease to grow in knowledge and wisdom. May they not fear to learn from others of different faiths and cultures. With their skills and knowledge, may they work for a more just and caring world in which all might one day know the fulfilling life that is your will for humankind. Amen.
Please be seated. I call upon the head of the School of Law, Professor Hector McQueen, to present a candidate for an honorary degree.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honor to present for the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws, Sheila Ann Manson-McLean. Professor Sheila McLean was born in 1951. After graduating LLB at the University of Glasgow, she was, for a short time, 1972 to 1975, area reporter to the Children's Panel. She was appointed lecturer in law at the University of Glasgow in 1975 and senior lecturer in 1985. It was during this time that she developed an intense interest in medical law and ethics. She can indeed legitimately claim to have been an original academic in the field and was already actively engaged in teaching and research at the time of the seminal Reith lectures on the subject given by Ian Kennedy in 1980. She was responsible for editing the pioneer book, Legal Issues in Medicine, which was published in 1981. Her prototype monograph, Medicine, Morals and the Law, written with Jerry Marr, appeared in 1983 and is one of the published cornerstones of what was a nascent and is now a flourishing discipline. She obtained her PhD in 1987, and the resultant book, A Patient's Right to Know, published in 1989, was and remains a fundamental work in the medical legal field. From an early stage, Professor McLean devoted herself wholeheartedly to teaching and built this up to the extent that the University of Glasgow established an Institute of Law and Ethics in Medicine in 1985. She was the original and is still its director. It is probable that this institute predated the comparable organization in London. Largely as a result of extensive lecturing around the world and a close association with the Broadcasting Council for Scotland, Professor McLean rapidly established a major international reputation as a leader in the study of medical ethics and the law. As a direct consequence, the International Bar Association sponsored a chair in Law and Ethics in Medicine at the University of Glasgow in 1990. Professor McLean was the first appointee to the chair and has remained in post ever since. Under her leadership, the University of Glasgow has become what is probably the largest and most popular medical legal teaching unit in the United Kingdom. Medical law is offered as a distinct undergraduate honours course. Taught courses for the degrees of LLM and MPhil are undertaken and are heavily oversubscribed. And most innovatively, Professor McLean has developed a distance learning program at MPhil level, which invariably attracts more applicants than can possibly be accommodated. Professor McLean is consulted frequently by government at both Westminster and Holyrood level. Indeed, as to the latter, it is hard to imagine any medical decision being taken without her advice being sought. More specifically, she has held or still holds the following positions among many others. Chair of the Scottish Executive Committee of Inquiry into the Retention of Organs at Post-Mortem, a member of the British Medical Association Ethics Committee, a member of the Advisory Group to the Information Commissioner on Biotechnology, a member of the Medical Research Council Advisory Committee on Genetics, a convener of the Department of Health review of the consent provisions of the Human Fertilisation and Embryology Act and Authority, and a member of the UK Xenotransplantation Interim Regulatory Authority. Professor McLean has, however, a still wider range of public activities than those associated with medical legalism. Thus, she was the first chair of the Scottish Criminal Cases Review Commission, and she was also at one time a member of the Scottish Higher Education Funding Council. She was also a member of the Broadcasting Council for Scotland and remains a member of the selection panel for that council. And within all this, her academic work continues. Her most recent book is Old Law, New Medicine, published in 1999, and she has edited a succession of invaluable reference works, including Law Reform and Medical Injury Litigation in 1995, Law and Ethics in Intensive Care, 1996, and Death, Dying and the Law, 1996. She has a further book in the process of publication, which is designed for the lay reader, entitled You, Your Body and the Law, which will appear in 2003. Professor McLean was elected Fellow of the Royal Society of Edinburgh in 1996 and has also been appointed Fellow of the Royal College of Physicians of Edinburgh, an exceptional recognition of a non-medical person. Some years ago, the Sunday Times featured her as one of the 10 most influential women in Scotland, and that is no hyperbole. Professor McLean brings much honour and reputation to Scotland as a whole, and it is not unfair to describe her as one of the more prominent jewels in the Scottish academic crown. She's been a good friend to the University of Edinburgh and has been particularly helpful to those who work in the same field as she does. The University of Edinburgh is proud to recognise and to honour the contribution she has made to Scottish life and Scottish academia. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I now invite you to confer the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws on Professor Sheila Ann Manson-McLean.
By the authority vested in me, I admit you to the degree. By the authority vested in me, I shall now admit to their various degrees and diplomas those whose names are set out in the graduation program. I call upon the head of the School of Law.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the College of Humanities and Social Science, Catherine Maud Ashley. Douglas Michael Charles. Colin Stanley Faulkner. Helen Freshwater. Alistair William McCallum. Oliver Marion Plunkett Mills. Fotini Papoudakis. Corin Richmond. Frances Mary Whiteman. Lawrence Stephen White. Martin Richard Pugh Whittingham. And Ian Wotherspoon. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present the degree of Doctor of Philosophy by Research Publications, John Graham Gibson. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present for the degree of Master of Laws, Adubakola Abbas. Ellen Bergman. Andrea Natalia Busfeld. Maria Carolina Callejon. Jose Maria Emmanuel Carral. Andreas Dimopoulos. Wai Feng. Suzanne Forster. Jürgen Uwe Heinzelmann. Karsten Thomas Henriksen. Alexandra James. Nicolas Jondet. Valerie Kuhn. Chung Chi Lee. Yuan Li. Yu Chao Li. Lan Liu. Casey J. Lowe. Katrina Vari Robertson McPhail. Matthias Merle. Kira Eva Mooney. Ihor Ivanovich Olikov. Bertrand Jean Pidelou. Christophe Sam. Cornelia Katerina Constanza Schmidt. Michael Tegethoff. Sandro Guido Tobler. Octavian Todorascu. Wim Vandenberg. Martin Veit. Martin Alexander von Treskov. Trevor James Webster. Ezra Simon Zechariah. And for the degree of Master of Laws in European Law, Julia Oleandra Bloch. Francois Adrien Joseph Depré. Gerrit Hornung. Dietmar Schulz. Tina Sell. And for the degree of Master of Laws in Innovation Technology and the Law, Sophie Veronique Andreu. Christopher Breath. Anastasios Christianopoulos, Athanasios Kapiras, Thomas Kirpin, Nikolaus Lintner, Jessica Ann Monnier, Eleftheria Markou, Agata Carolina Mazur, Thomas Schmeding, and Sebastian von Ruden. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, by the same name and in the same authority, I have the honour to present the degree of Master of Letters, Evelyn Ann Mary Laidlaw. And Sarah Maureen Macquarie. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present for the degree of Master of Science in the College of Humanities and Social Science in Applied Linguistics, Manabu Arai. Efrosini Argiri, Stephen Allen Charles Brown, Michelle Sue McWilliam, and in comparative and general literature, Ruth Elizabeth Himus. And in criminology and criminal justice, Irini Antonaki. Fedra Patsalu. Tazlin Anil Mohammed Rahamtullah. And Nicola Rivers. And in English literature, nation writing and culture, Astrid Lisbeth Barbara van Weyenberg. And in English literature, writing and cultural politics, Stephen Matthew Greer. Louisa Ann Hadley. And Sally Kawamura. And in European film studies, Klaus Bardenhagen. Tobias Lehmann. Vasilis Soboros. Paul Stephen Scoynes. Alice Shannon. And Stephanie Wright. And in the history of art, Jessica Lee Faddle. Charlene Ho. Catherine Helen Hutchinson. Anna Maria Katsuraki. And Catherine Louise Sloan. And in medieval studies, Anna Beard. Christine Oliveira de Chaves. and Carol Margaret Leslie. And in philosophy, Angeliki Chitsanidi. And in speech and language processing, Beatrice Alex. Sasha Ann Calhoun. Elizabeth Korianopoulou. Fiona Ruth Cooper. Sarah Margaret Creer. And Yuk On Kong. And in translation studies, Olga Antoniadou. Raila Ermeli Hekkanen. Shu Ju Lin. Michaela Micheli. Eleanor Abigail Isadora Morena. And Yuko Tsuyuki. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honor to present the degree of Master of Science by Research in the College of Humanities and Social Science, Helen Sarah Brown. Mary Catherine Burgess. Alan James Burnett. Beatriz Caballero Rodriguez. Camilla Cox. Elaine Deary. Christopher Graham Harrison Dunlop. Jason Michael Eritano. Lucas Gregor Konstantin Lehmann. Christopher Ian Mantle. James Peter. Suzanne Eleanor Janet Skivington. Alice Claire Smith. Sherilyn Dawn Tice. And Anne-Marie Tindley.
I call upon the Dean of Undergraduate Studies in the College of Humanities and Social Science, Dr. Brian Barron.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honour to present for the degree of Bachelor of Laws with honours Tara Jane Lillis. Peter Andrew McGladrigan. Robin Joseph Winstanley. And with honours in law and accountancy, Christine Wilson Chalmers. And for the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Hazel Ann Gordon. Fraser John Mitchell. Susan Marjorie Shepherd. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present for the degree of Master of Arts with honours in English Literature, Daniel Anthony Craig. And with honours in French and Latin, Adam Craig Strachan. And with honours in history, Louise O'Shea. Elliot William Young. And for the general degree of Master of Arts, Catherine Ellen Bruce. Scott Robert Fobister. Matthew Simon Digby Kendall. Elaine Stoker. Michael Thane. Christopher Carl MacDonald Thompson. And Emma Gillian Vickerstaff.
I call upon the head of the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine, Vice Principal Professor John Saville.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor of Medicine, Sean Brian Ainsworth. Jacqueline Francis Facenda. Sina Babak Fazil. Martin Stephen Hiley. Robert John Irving. Melanie Jane McKean. And Alan George Shand. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine, Hassan Ali Al-Mullah. Renska Miranda Brunner. Paula Jane Brunton. Murray Charles Henry Clark. Jan Cullingworth. Ali Abdul Rahman Mohammed Dashti. Claire Elizabeth Drakeford. Nikolaios Karoulias. David Anthony McLaughlin. Leonard Joseph Nelson. Carmel Mary Riley. Rebecca Mary Reynolds. Oliver Schmidt. Amy Louise Segar. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present for the degree of Master of Philosophy in the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine, Suella Jane Holmes. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present for the degree of Master of Science in the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine, Mark James Harrison. Moira Ann Masson. Snorri Bjorn Raffinson. And with distinction, Susanna Deborah Schenkin. Heather Lee Aspley. Margaret Joan Campbell. Judith Helen Robertson. Fiona Ruth Wilson. Carla Munoz de la Espada Johnson. And with distinction, Cleanthis Melios. Ruth Elaine Chalmers. Burama Dampfer. Sachin Ashok Gupta. Nahida Hanif. Lisa Antoinette King. Guido Alois Lerzinski. Craig Ian Robert McAlpine. Helen Monica Milne. With distinction, Tamzin Shah. Owundo John Abanga. Napoleon Kwesi Graham. Farideh Khalaj Abadi Farahani. With distinction, Gillian Kirkwood Wyatt. And for the degree of Master of Science by Research in the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine, with distinction, Angela Claire Bradshaw. Also with distinction, Raymond Chan. Francis Lester Chung. Philip John Ainsley Dean. Ada Delaney. Louise Amanda Jane Harewood. With distinction, Dennis Hunter. With distinction, Carolyn Janice Loveridge. With distinction, Benjamin Simon Martinoga. With distinction, Alison Delamere McNeely. With distinction, Evangelos Untugos. With distinction, Michelle O'Reilly. I. Caterini Papacaroni. Anna Schaaf. With distinction, Catherine Ann Shaw. With distinction, Inga Eileen Thompson. Thomas Robert Webb. Degrees of MB-CHB. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I shall now read the Sponsio Academica to the medical graduands. Will those about to graduate, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, please rise. Whereas the distinction of a degree in medicine is now to be conferred upon me, I solemnly promise before God, the searcher of hearts, that I will to my latest breath abide steadfast in all due loyalty to the University of Edinburgh. Further, that I will practice the art of medicine with care, with purity of conduct, and with uprightness, and, so far as in me lies, will faithfully attend to everything conducive to the welfare of the sick. Lastly, that whatever things seen or heard in the course of medical practice ought not to be spoken of, I will not, save for weighty reason, divulge. This I promise, as I hope for the gracious blessing of heaven. I ask you to raise your right hand in token of assent. Please be seated. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Senatus Academicus, I have the honour to present for the degrees of Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, Jo Yen Chan. Iona Suzanne Diaz. Claire Michelle Gardner. Alistair James Gilmore. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present for the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Medical Sciences with honours in Anatomical Sciences, Russell James Bramall. With honours in Medical Microbiology, Ruth Caroline Lamb. Laura Claire Wells. With honours in Neuroscience, Nancy Tia Henrietta Colchester. And with honours in Physiology, Simon Granville Pierce. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, in the same name and by the same authority, I have the honour to present with the degree of Bachelor of Science in Medical Sciences, Jamie Christian Prentice. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science with honours in Environmental Health, Claire Devlin.
By the authority vested in me, I shall now admit to their diplomas and certificates those whose names are listed on pages 17 to 18 of the graduation programme. I call upon the head of the School of Law.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the award of a prize in the School of Law, the T.B. Smith Prize, awarded to the most distinguished LLM or MSc graduate of the year, Jürgen Uwe Heinzelmann, LLM.
Guests, graduates and colleagues, my warmest welcome to the McEwen Hall. We are attending the most important ceremony in the university's calendar. It is the public celebration of the academic achievements and scholarly successes of the new graduates that I have admitted to degrees today. Graduates, you are part of an academic community that is more than 400 years old. Some aspects of today's ceremony, for example, the wearing of your fine academic robes, are similar in all the medieval European university foundations. Other aspects of our ceremony are only found in some of the other ancient Scottish universities. When I admitted you to your degrees, I capped you with the ceremonial bonnet of great antiquity. The bonnet used at the University of Edinburgh is believed by many to be made from a pair of breeches belonging to John Knox. I do hope that belief is true, as it would make the material of the bonnet even older than the 420 years of the university itself. What is absolutely certain is that it has been used for more than 150 years. We know this because to supplement what I'm sure you'll be pleased to know is its regular annual cleaning, it went a couple of years ago for some much-needed restoration, and a date of 1843 was found on a maker's tag inside. Your Chancellor, His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, sends his warm greetings to his new graduates. Before the construction of ceremonial halls such as this, chancellors conducted the ceremonies in the chancels of medieval churches and university cities, so that's why they're called chancellors. As they were often the monarch or a political leader, they then came to appoint vice-chancellors, who are not actually deputies, but as those of you with Latin will know, are the other chancellors. This fine hall is very particular to your university. I believe that we are the only university whose main ceremonial hall was funded by profits from the sale of beer. We remain indebted to William McEwen, and I'm sure some of you have already expressed that debt for us. When you leave this hall, do look at the old college. The university flag is flying to show the city and the university at large our pride in your achievements. In my other role as principal of the university, I've recently had the pleasure of welcoming students from all over the world. We currently have students from 120 different countries in our academic community. The diversity of countries represented at this ceremony and in the university is one of our great strengths. In addition to acknowledging graduates from all around the globe, it is a special pleasure that we are able to honour Professor Sheila McLean, who has travelled here all the way from Glasgow. Professor McLean, in turn, honours you graduates and our most distinguished School of Law by her presence here today. At this ceremony, we have awarded doctorates for research projects in the humanities, social sciences, medicine and veterinary medicine. Each dissertation represents an original contribution to knowledge. As someone who has supervised many doctoral theses, I know that each successful candidate travelled a very demanding intellectual journey over a number of years before successfully defending a major piece of writing. You need a great deal of tenacity and determination in order to complete a research degree. I do hope you will enjoy your brand new title of doctor, and that many of the new doctors of philosophy will seek positions in this and other universities, in research institutes, or as leaders in public intellectual life. I know that you are now equipped to make further unsupervised contributions to knowledge and to lead and direct the work of other learners and researchers. Those of you who are graduating as doctors of medicine, and many of you who have taken master's degrees, have already successfully engaged with practical work directly related to your chosen professions. I do not underestimate the courage you needed when, as an aspirant doctor, vet, psychiatrist, or other professional, you first walked towards or equivalent and were open to the corrective commentary of more experienced staff. You have passed that very demanding test, and as you leave the university for professional life, we know that you will maintain the highest standards of ethical and professional behavior. For many of you who have taken bachelor's and master's degrees, your driving motivation will have been intellectual curiosity rather than a particular vocational aspiration. You have achieved your academic success in one of the great universities of the world. All sorts of different careers can follow. I strongly encourage you to do work which you are proud of and which you actively enjoy. Some of you will stay close to your subject areas. Others of you will become distinguished in very many different areas. The graduates who have preceded you over the past 420 years have done startlingly well in very many domains. Some in obvious areas like research in medicine, science, and the humanities. But our graduates also excel in less obvious areas, with, for an example, an extraordinary number of distinguished novelists, including Arthur Conan Doyle, J.M. Barrie, Walter Scott, Ian Rankin, and Robert Louis Stevenson. Your university was founded as the town's college and has always had a leading role in producing doctors, lawyers, and other professionals of the highest caliber. Equally, as a great intellectual powerhouse, we inculcate intellectual curiosity and the ability to adopt new patterns of intellectual inquiry. All graduates leave having learnt to learn. You all passed your exams. How is your university doing in its exams? Well, you may be surprised to know that your examiners and teachers are rather more averse to external tests of their work and standing than the average student. But happily, we have done very well on all the recent external examinations of our teaching, research, and administrative processes. It is a great credit to all my colleagues that they have done so well. Graduates, the success of the University of Edinburgh reflects well on you, and you in turn reflect well on your university. As members of the community of graduates, you will continue to matter to us in the university, not only because you carry a part of our reputation with you, but also because you will become new sources of advice and contact, key links with government, professions, industry, commerce, voluntary and cultural organisations, or the media, and key links with all parts of the world. Do stay in touch with us, and do please boast about your University of Edinburgh degree. Your university is a very proud academic parent, so do give the staff who taught you the happy experience of a visit, letter, or email to relate how you're doing. In the ceremony, we clapped each graduate individually. I would like to now conclude this address by encouraging 3 rounds of more general applause. Your university is blessed with highly committed support staff, such as servitors, secretaries, technicians, and administrators, and they have contributed greatly to your academic success. We also have tremendously gifted university teachers represented on the platform behind me. Please join me in applauding the staff of your university. For many graduates, success would not have been possible without the help of supporters, family, or friends. Different graduates will have had different types of support. It may have been encouragement, it may have been money, it may have been an end-of-term welcome for your dirty washing, or the loan of a portable computer. The university is very grateful to the supporters, and we know how much you have done to help the graduates. I ask the graduates and staff to join with me in applauding the supporters who for various reasons cannot be here today, and also the graduate supporters happily present here today. Finally, I wish each and every graduate success and happiness for the future, and I ask my colleagues and the supporters to join with me in applauding the magnificent collection of graduates in front of me in this great hall. Please rise. I call upon the head of the School of Divinity to conclude his graduation with a benediction.
May what has begun this day grow and flourish. May our graduates go forth to promote justice, understanding, and reconciliation. May they take what they have been given here and give generously to others. And may the Lord bless you all and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and give you peace this day and forevermore.